Welcome back to another Tales of Tribute. Opponent going Almalexia first, and let's try Alessia and Mora. So, haven't played Mora in a while, so let's try pick it and see what happens. Opponent's going first, and he gets a nice Crow card, which is a very good card to pick up early. Toll of Silver. Our stuff in the tavern is pretty crappy right now, so let's just Alessia to shuffle one agent into our deck. A couple of choices here. He uses Alessia back against us, which only generates him power. It doesn't improve his deck in any way. So we still have a shot here. Let's use Alessia again, and this will slowly start to generate us a little bit more hopefully a slightly better deck than what we started with. I mean, 4 power to shuffle a 3 mana 3 gold agent that produces either 2 gold or 1 power is not great. It's okay, but the stuff in the tavern right now doesn't really do anything. That, on the other hand, does something. Lantern of the Endless is great. I'm gonna pick that up immediately. And because he uses Seeker Aspirant, I have a bit of extra gold as well, which I can use to pick up that Crow Claw. Which the Crow Claw is mainly so that he doesn't pick it up. Not for, and let's get rid of that Toll of Silver with our remaining gold, with our remaining Almalexia power. So he does get another Secret Aspirant activation off, which is not great. It is definitely annoying to have to deal with a deck that's getting smaller, and your opponent has a nice Crow card in his deck. Our deck is actually quite big right now because we have 2 sort of okay Soldier of the Empire cards. Not the greatest, not the worst. We do need to get rid of the Secret Aspirant at some point, although he is giving us gold, which is, and okay, he uses Barter to get rid of Imprisonment to real a scratch, which I think we're sort of kind of forced to pick up because, and he didn't use Secret Aspirant that turn, I think. We're sort of forced to pick up the Secret Aspirant, the scratch, because we don't want him to go more Crows. But our deck is not as good as Crows as our opponent's deck. Our opponent's deck is a bit smaller. Our deck has just a bunch of random cards, a bunch of Alessia, a bunch of Crows. Maybe not as efficient as his deck. So our opponent can still buy better cards to improve his deck. Right now the tavern is still pretty empty. He could use Alessia once to destroy my agents, which is quite reasonable. We still have 1 rebel left, which doesn't really do anything at the moment. And I think at this stage we have quite a lot of Alessia agents in our deck, and to be honest, they're not the greatest. I think it might be time to start using the treasury against our opponent. Try using the treasury operator to try to improve our deck. The actual gold coins of the deck a bit more. Nicely enough, we drew a Lantern of Endless with the Unsealed Glyphic. If you're playing Mora, you probably should not get rid of Unsealed Glyphic, because the Mora combos are really strong, and even just getting 1 more combo it will generate a lot more power. Mora combos are quite important compared to like say the Pelin or the Reach. Those are okay. They're like, yeah, they're okay. Not the greatest, not the worst. I'm not too interested in shuffling more Alessia agents into my deck, although I could have afforded it. I think at some point your deck becomes a little too diluted and not as good to use. The tavern is still pretty bad. Like, he's playing all these like tavern agents, but tavern agents are not something that scares me too much right now. We have many ways to kill agents. You got a Crow power at last resort. Alessia's on the field, so at some point if you draw Alessia, they have the Alessia destroy everything cards, which is fine. We can, I think, focus a bit more on our economy right now. My opponent's deck is still basically nothing except for that 1 Crow card. I have a couple of random cards which are not the greatest, not the worst, but you know, we do get a Crow combo off here, which is nice. A lot of extra gold. Opponent's working on his economy a bit more by using the treasury. Wonder if we can use the Mournhold Clergy to try to imprison one of our opponent's cards. I don't think so because of the combo. But let's see if we can try to mess with our opponent a bit by getting rid of a good card. Let's get rid of Peck. I think I don't want him to get a Crow combo off essentially. So let's confine that one. I just to annoy him a bit, make him spend some stuff to kill it. And now he can't get Crow combo off, so that makes me quite happy. You can probably buy Imprisonment to kill my Mournhold Clergy. It is 3 toughness, which makes it slightly harder to kill than average. Ink and Blood is something I'm considering. It's a cheap Mora card. I would like something a bit more to toss, maybe toss our deck a bit more before we start going into that. So let's draw and see what we got draw into. Okay, that's good. Let's just start drawing to see if we get anything more interesting. Morehouse is nice, but unfortunately we can't afford it right now. I don't really want him to get a Crow combo off, so I'm considering getting Law of Sovereign Ruse. But if Law of Sovereign Ruse is quite expensive. It will, if he does draw a Crow, that means -1. Oh, that's something we really don't want him to be getting. We don't want him to get Unfathomable Secrets. That is just a very good, cheap way to get lots of power, and he buys it. Yeah, well, fair enough. He can't buy Lantern of the Endless, which is fine by me. I'm definitely gonna pick that up. I think going Mora here, the more Mora you get, the better your deck is gonna be. And Lantern is very strong card. He uses the Mora power to pick it up, which is, I hate using the Mora power. It costs you, the cost is quite significant because your opponent gets it in your deck too, and it costs you 3 power. And my deck will absolutely benefit from the Mora, no doubt about it. We pick up our Jailer, lets us confine a card, and I finally noticed, I think at this stage, Voracious Tome Shell is actually a very good card now. It was not a change I had registered previously. It's like it wasn't in the patch notes, I think, but in the old Tome Shell made your opponent draw 2 cards whenever you play it. And I'm reading it again, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, this has only 1 card. That makes this actually a really good card, because making your opponent draw 1 card as a setback is okay. It's not the worst. The bad things started happening when your opponent draws 2 cards. It started to make the deck really good. My opponent picks up the Tome Shell up, which is unfortunate because I would have definitely picked it up if I had read it a bit closer compared to before. But that's fair. I'm more quite in the future, I will definitely be picking that up early, because that would be a very good card for making very good combos. We are ahead a bit ahead of power. I pick up the Philanthropy. Not sure that's the correct pick, actually. I could have picked up a lot of other things. Philanthropy is like, oh boy, I don't want him to draw the Tome Shell. I also don't want him to draw Toll of Silver. These are all quite tricky, but I'm pretty scared of Tome Shell. Tome Shell will make his deck really strong. So yeah, I think that was probably the best option. Crows get in power, a bit of power and gold, but it doesn't make his deck smaller. Picks up Saint's Wrath, which is good against agents. We have a couple of agents, but nothing too scary. We get 1 nice Mora combo going, so yeah, at this stage, I just want to start cycling through my deck a bit more. That's sort of why I picked up the Philanthropy, because that's the only thing that really cycles through your deck better. Like Mora, not really. These are all quite sad. I do not want him to get Mora combos off, whereas I think getting a Saint's Wrath off is something I don't care about. So let's just do it that way. In this case, I probably could have used Soldier of the Empire to generate gold in order to buy the Blackmail instead of using that, because I think buying Blackmail is quite nice. Anyway, we got another Crow combo coming up, so we're going to be able to afford hopefully some nice cards next turn. Opponent picks up the Ink and Blood. It's a... he manages to pick up Unfathomable Secrets, so yeah, great for him. Drawing me 1 card is not that big a drawback for him, but so that is, yeah, like these draw 1 card drawbacks are quite unremarkable. And he uses the Crow, which I disagree with. Like, what's the point of that? It doesn't matter if my agent's alive or not. And you know, I can, because he drew me an extra card with the Mora Tribute action. Now I have an extra 2 gold coin, which I can convert into more power with my Crow power. And now I'm like 1 Crow power away from winning essentially. And we got a mega combo with Mora in our hands at the moment. So I think our opponent, despite his attempt to stack his deck with the Saint's Wrath, I am not super convinced that he will be able to match my power at this stage. So yeah, we can definitely use Crows 1 more time here, and I mean, yeah, just use the Mora cards, generate lots and lots of power, and then just use Crows for the win. I don't think my opponent can generate the 30 prestige in 1 turn, despite his combo that he managed to stack up with the Saint's Wrath. So yeah, Mora games tend to be pretty fast actually, but yeah, unfortunately, not quite enough for my opponent. We managed to get a couple of nice Mora combos going. So I think conclusion from this game is Voracious Tome Shell is really good, and you should pick it up for sure it's a very good card. Anyway, thanks for watching.